Now at 5, the man convicted in the deaths of 2 girls from Welch, Oklahoma is set to be released from prison. Plus, we'll hear and learn about a multi-million-dollar project to expand Kansas Highway 7 in Crawford County. And
former Vice President Mike Pence testifies before a federal grand jury. I'm Willie James Inman in Washington with details on the case surrounding former President Donald Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The man sentenced for the disappearance of 2 girls from Welch, Oklahoma is set to be freed from prison. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Jalen Banks. And our own Cale Chapman joins us in studio now with more.
Thank you, Jalen. In 2020, Ronnie Busick pleaded guilty to the disappearance of Laura Bible and Ashley Freeman. According to the Oklahoma Department of Corrections, Busick is now to be released on May 19th of this year. Busick was sentenced to 10 years in prison with 5 years of probation. He pleaded guilty to accessory to murder for the disappearance of the girls and the deaths of Danny and Kathy Freeman in Welch, Oklahoma. Busick was one of 3 individuals accused of the 1999 murder case and was originally charged in 2018. Kay Thompson, the Oklahoma Department of Corrections acting chief of communication, has told KOAM that Busick got credit for time he served 3 years in county jail, and that he also got credit at an accelerated rate.
That's been our one from day one. We're going to find the girls. Do whatever it needs, whatever we have to do, how long we have to wait. I mean, we've waited 23 years to get this far.
Busick now has 5 years probation and will have 1 year under supervision. For more updates on this story, follow along on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Back to you, Jalen.
Kansas Governor Laura Kelly announced that her administration's bipartisan transportation plan has committed more than $297 million to construct 8 expansion and modernization highway projects in eastern Kansas. The projects include the development of a diverging diamond interchange at US 40 Kansas Highway 10 close to Lawrence, widening the shoulders of certain sections of State Highway 7 in Crawford County.
Highway 7 is a very narrow highway, and the way we understand it is when the trucking companies or the individual truckers, when they try to get a route to go, Google Maps actually send them on Highway 7 instead of sending them down 69, which has really created a problem because, again, it is a very narrow highway with no shoulders.
Representatives from KDOT will be at Crawford County on May 5th to discuss the widening of highways with no shoulders. Park Elementary students in Columbus, Kansas last month took part in a trike-a-thon and a walk-a-thon to raise money for St. Jude Children's Hospital. It's all in memory of a young boy named Dylan who lost his battle with cancer. Dylan's mom teaches at the school. Today, the school held an assembly to announce that they had raised more than $7,000 this year.
It means the world to me. My son was a patient at St. Jude, and without all of this, my son wouldn't have been able to be taken care of when he was sick. St. Jude is it's just like part of my family. I do whatever I can to make it mine.
Dylan's family has raised more than $100,000 for St. Jude over the past 9 years. Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy joins us.
Well, it definitely turned out to be kind of gloomy once again for us today. Showers working into the region. So picking up again, these are overall are pretty light, but there's some heavier pockets once you get down through northeastern Oklahoma, just south of Miami, where you see the yellows on the radar, a little bit heavier pockets. So we're going to take whatever we can get. These showers are going to continue to rotate through over the next several hours. So here's 8:30. Let's go to about midnight. Very light showers at that point in time. Then most of these will be gone by the time we head into the morning hours. But it is going to be wet out there throughout the evening. Temperature sitting 60 to about 65 degrees across the region throughout the evening hours. Those showers will slide back through the 50s. Of course, we're going to look at the weekend here in just a bit.
All right, we'll see that. Former President Trump's repeated efforts to stop his former Vice President Mike Pence from testifying before the special counsel investigating him failed this week. On Wednesday, an appeals court denied his final legal challenge, and the very next day, Pence was sworn in before a grand jury. Reporter Willie James Inman has more details from Washington, D.C.
Former Vice President Mike Pence left a D.C. courthouse after testifying before a federal grand jury for more than 7 hours. Pence's testimony is part of Special Counsel Jack Smith's investigation into efforts by former President Trump to overturn the 2020 election.
There may be no better star witness for the special counsel than President Trump's own vice president.
Former President Trump pushed Pence to stop Congress from certifying the election, even doing so publicly during the rally on January 6th.
If Mike Pence does the right thing, we win the election.
But Pence may have witnessed other efforts by Trump to stay in the White House.
What the president said, what he told the vice president to do, what the vice president saw, what he heard the president telling others, what, if any, plans the president shared with him or with others.
Pence's appearance before the grand jury could be a sign that the special counsel is moving closer to a decision about whether to indict the former president. Trump told a crowd in New Hampshire Thursday that the investigations into him only help.
The harder they hit, the better we do.
Pence is considering running for president in 2024.
Hello, Iowa.
Potentially pitting himself against his former boss. Willie James Inman, CBS News, Washington.
Former President Trump was asked about Pence's testimony following a rally in New Hampshire last night, and he replied that he doesn't know what Pence said, but that he has a lot of confidence in him. More than 20 Russian missile strikes pounded Ukraine overnight, killing at least 23 people, including 2 children. It was the first major attack from Russia in more than a month. Ukrainian officials say air defense systems shot down most of the missiles. Ukraine is preparing to launch a major counteroffensive to retake 4 Russian-occupied territories. Still ahead, scammers using terrifying new tactics.
A scary ransom scam is leaving victims terrified. I'm Danya Backus with what you need to know about virtual kidnappings.
And next in Health Watch, raising awareness of the life-saving impact of vaccines for World Immunization Week. Topping today's Health Watch, the American Heart Association has named the DASH diet as the best for heart health. DASH stands for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension. It aligned 100% with the AHA's goals for heart-healthy eating. The pescatarian diet, which allows for dairy, eggs, fish, and other seafood, came in second with 92%. And the award-winning Mediterranean diet aligned at 89%. It came in third mostly because it recommends a small glass of red wine each day and doesn't limit salt. Scientists have successfully engineered a way to extend the lifespan of cells in an effort to slow the aging process. Researchers at the University of California, San Diego genetically rewired the circuit that controls aging in yeast cells, leading to an 82% increase in lifespan. The team is now expanding its research to human cells.
It's the last week of April, a time when experts want everyone to check that they're up to date on their vaccines. This year's theme is called the Big Catch-Up. The CDC says there's an urgent need for children to catch up on vaccines they missed during the pandemic, so they can be protected against different illnesses, disabilities, even death. Worldwide, 25 million children missed at least one routine vaccine in 2021. 18 million didn't receive any vaccines at all. Disruptions during the COVID pandemic left many children behind on routine immunizations, and vaccine hesitancy still remains a major obstacle. Health experts are concerned as outbreaks increase with vaccine-preventable diseases like the measles and polio. And kids aren't the only ones who need vaccines. For adults, the shingles vaccine is recommended for people over 50 and the pneumonia vaccine for people age 65 and up. Doctors say it's a good idea to see your healthcare provider once a year to make sure you're up to date on vaccines as well as routine health screenings. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
The effectiveness of some vaccines wane over time. For example, a person needs a tetanus booster every 10 years to stay protected. New CDC data finds substance abuse among U.S. high school students declined during the last decade, but vaping has increased. The Youth Risk Behavior Surveillance Report also found most high schoolers in America did not meet daily recommendations for eating fruits and vegetables or engaging in physical activity. That's a look at today's health news. A little later, an antitrust lawsuit against Google is allowed to move forward.
Plus, we have more rain working through during the evening hours. I'm going to give you those details coming up. another gloomy day for us today. A lot of clouds across the region. Through the afternoon, we've had some scattered light showers, and these will actually pick up a bit as we get into the evening hours. We need some rain. So far, this is going to go down as the third driest April of all time, which is a little ironic because we've had 4 severe weather events in the month of April. We just haven't had widespread rain. 67 in Nevada, 59 in Neosho, 61 in Miami. Chanute is sitting at 59. You got the clouds. We're looking at 7th and range line, currently sitting at 60 degrees. South winds are light at about 3 miles per hour. Through the evening hours, we have these on and off showers across the region. That's what we're going to be seeing. We do have these showers picking up out there, especially in northeastern Oklahoma through southwestern parts of Missouri. Again, these are all very light. Where you do see the yellow, that is where we are getting some heavier pockets. So from Neosho, just south of Miami, we can track a little bit farther west. We're getting into Craig County, Nowata County, and then just to the west of Independence. So at least we're getting a little bit of rain, which is good news. Now the big time storms, they're staying south. All the severe weather, really Dallas, south toward Austin. And this whole little wave, you can see this, the upper level wave is going to push off toward the east, but look at the jet stream straight out of Canada, so that draws in that cooler air, so that's why we're going to be cool like we have been this whole past week. All right, rain chances high this evening, trail off after midnight, gone by the time we hit the morning hours. Let's go through time. Hit and miss light showers throughout the evening. After midnight, they're pretty much gone, but we do start the day with clouds, but by the time we get to the noon hour, plenty of sunshine. We're into lower 60s. As we get into the afternoon, I think most of us warm into the mid 60s for high. So overall, it's going to be pretty nice. Tomorrow night, clear skies. We get another little second front that drops through, so a little bit cooler tomorrow night. We drop back into lower 40s for overnight lows. As we get into Sunday, a little breezy, northwesterly winds at about 10 to 20. High temps a hair cooler, but still into the mid 60s for highs. So overall, the weekend is shaping up pretty good. All right, rainfall amounts this evening, very light, maybe 1/10 of an inch in spots. That's going to be about the highest, so it's not going to be heavy rain by any means, but we'll take what we can get. Here's your day planner, 53 at 9, 65 by 1, sunshine during the afternoon as we warm into the mid to upper 60s for afternoon highs. So it's going to be a pretty good day. Next week, we do have a couple waves Monday and Tuesday that shoot to our south, but we really warm up next week. We get a chance for thunderstorms in here late Wednesday, better shot Thursday. Some of these could be strong to severe, but temperatures approaching 80, into the 80s for highs. 67 tomorrow, 64 on Sunday, 66 on Monday, 70s Tuesday, Wednesday, 80s Thursday and Friday, but those chances for thunderstorms Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that will be our next shot for some severe thunderstorms.
Yeah, part of my upbringing was in Minnesota, and so there was a lot of times as a kid we'd joke around and be like, man, can we build a wall to block the cold air coming from Canada? So when you said the cool air is coming from Canada, it just took me back to like third grade all over again. All right, thank you, Doug. Coming up, how scammers are tricking people into believing their loved ones are in danger to extort money. Topping today's Consumer Watch, a federal judge says the Justice Department's antitrust lawsuit against Google's advertising business can move forward. More than a dozen states have joined the DOJ in the suit, accusing Google of monopolizing online advertising technology. The DOJ says Google controls the digital tools that nearly every website publisher and advertisers uses to buy and sell ads. Today, a federal judge rejected Google's motion to dismiss the case and now moves onto the discovery phase. The FBI says Americans lost more than $54 million in extortion scams last year. One of those scams has victims believing their loved one has been kidnapped. Reporter Danya Backus has the details.
A few weeks ago, Terry Ray Elmer was at home when the phone rang.
I hear this just screeching, high-pitched screaming. Mommy, 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 you have to help me. I'm so scared. I don't know what to do. And It sounded like my older daughter. And then this man comes on the phone. He said, "You're going to give me $5,000 or I'm going to hold the phone up and you can listen while I start cutting your daughter's fingers off one by one."
The caller said he was nearby, and that's when Elmer realized it was a scam because she knew her daughter was in another state at the time.
And that's when I finally hung up on him. And I immediately called both daughters.
And they were okay?
They were fine.
Elmer didn't lose any money, but that's not often the case. Last year, Rio Brown told us how scam artists use spoofing technology to make it look like the call was coming from her mom's phone.
And he said, "We're going to kill your parents if you don't listen."
The caller ordered her to send 3 transactions through a payment app. Later, she figured out it was a scam.
Is this usually a situation where this is random or targeted?
It's both. Sometimes it's random, sometimes it's targeted.
Michael Peasley is the FBI's unit chief for the International Violent Crime Unit.
The first thing we tell people is before you do anything, hang up the phone and try to contact your loved one.
He says if that's not possible, start asking the caller questions.
Give us some of the questions that people can ask to be able to confirm.
Sure, you could use something simple as, what was our first dog's name? Or what's my middle name?
A simple step that can keep you from becoming a victim. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Those monthly subscriptions are entering the auto industry. Mercedes EV owners in the U.S. can pay $60 a month for an additional 60 horsepower. It'll run you $90 a month to increase by 80 horsepower. Mercedes isn't the only car maker offering extra features with a subscription fee. BMW has heated seats as a downloadable option, and Tesla has additional driving assistance features through software downloads. The CDC is easing up on vaccine requirements for international travelers. Those boarding flights to the United States will be considered fully vaccinated 2 weeks after getting a single dose of either the Pfizer or Moderna mRNA vaccine anytime after August 16th, when bivalent formulations first became available. The updated travel guidance was posted on the agency's website. The travel requirements don't apply to U.S. citizens, lawful permanent residents, or immigrants. Pilots may be getting help from artificial intelligence on ultra-long flights. A new report says airlines are using software to determine the most fuel-efficient flight paths. AI is also helping airlines avoid extreme weather and can tell pilots to fly at slower at certain times. The report also says airlines can use AI to assist with ticket sales and cockpit procedures. The final check of the forecasts next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, how companies are recycling old wind turbine blades. Then on KOAM News at 6, we'll hear more on a multi-million-dollar project to widen Kansas Highway 7 in Crawford County. Plus, students at Rocky Comfort Elementary in McDonald County showcase their green thumb with a plant sale. And we'll meet a Southeast Kansas high school senior who's now a 3-time powerlifting national champion. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. The DNA of a famous Siberian husky that inspired a 1995 animated film is offering insight into how genetic diversity has impacted the health of dogs over time. Balto, the immortalized as a statue in New York, is famous for being part of a dog sled team that delivered a life-saving antitoxin to a remote Alaskan town that was struck by diphtheria in 1925. In a study published in the journal Science, researchers at the University of California, Santa Cruz found evidence that Balto's population was genetically healthier than modern breeds and carried gene variants that may have helped the dog survive the extreme environment. Did you ever watch Balto?
Nope.
Really? Well, I mean, I'm younger than you, but every year, like in elementary, they had us watch it for whatever reason.
Yeah, I was an adult when you were in elementary. So.
But all right, Doug, what do we have?
Showers during the evening hours and then through the overnight hours tonight. But we start the day tomorrow with some clouds. A little cooler for late April this weekend, but a great weekend. 67 and 64 on Sunday, just a little bit breezy.
All right, sounds good. Thank you for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we'll be right back here for your KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.